lovely welcome this early in the morning. I too had a very late evening last night. It started out with a lovely dinner on Pearl Street, and even though it was not my 21st birthday, I made my way to the pub to kiss the buffalo. Why not? It could have helped. And then I segued on to the sink on the hill, where I think I may have seen some of you this morning. Such amazing stamina. Truthfully, how good does a Starbucks latte with a shot of espresso sound right now? I am very pleased to be here. It's my first visit to Boulder, and it is truly breathtaking. As I was driving in from the airport, I was just looking at the lovely hills, and honestly, I had to step out of the car and walk over to a grassy knoll. You know what, make my signature turn. Actually, I think I should be carefully referring to Ralphie. I should carefully referring to Ralphie as a he, because as I understand it, Ralphie is really a she playing a he, right? Which pleases me no end, I can tell you, because in Visit Victoria, for those of you who have not seen the movie or the musical, I played the character who was a she, playing a he, who was playing a she. And clearly, Ralphie, I can relate. Chancellor De Stefano, thank you for your lovely introduction. Together with the President, Dean James Williams, our graduation marshal this morning, regents, administrators, educators, staff at the University of Colorado Boulder, thank you for all that you do. Also, my heartfelt appreciation to the Senior Class Council, its President, Sosie Asian, and Commencement Chair, Erica Roswell, who invited me here today. Now, there's a lovely graduate among you today by the name of Molly, whom I have known very, very well since she was a little girl. And together with her parents, I have watched her flourish here and become an incredible human being. CU has helped weave the fabric of who she is today and what she will become tomorrow. And knowing her, as I do, I believe she probably represents all of you. To those students who are here today without a parent or parents or missing loved ones due to events beyond their control, please know that everyone here is celebrating and honoring you also, and your accomplishments as a community. We all salute you. I've been thinking about today and what I could say to you, and it suddenly occurred to me that one of the last speeches you will hear in college will be this one. And now, that scared me half to death. What can I tell you? I never finished high school. I never, sadly, attended college. As a youngster, I was traveling the length and breadth of the British Isles, singing my head off in the British music halls, a theatre brat with a freaky 4.5 octave range. And now you might assume that after a life in the theatre and film, I wouldn't be nervous in a situation like this. But I can assure you that I am, or I certainly was before your very warm welcome. Today is about celebration, but despite that, I thought you might just be feeling a little nervous as well, and perhaps even fearful. I mean, you've been safely nestled in these mountains for the past few years. You've had amazing mentors guiding your way through the best possible education, and now you stand on the threshold of the next phase of your lives. Some of you may know what lies ahead of you, and perhaps some of you haven't made a decision yet. Whatever the case, this is the first of many transitions you will likely encounter in your lifetime. Believe me, feeling nervous is just par for the course. I remember once saying to my husband Blake, on the eve of my return to Broadway after a 35-year absence, I said to him, you know, I'm really feeling very frightened about this, and I began to tear up. He smiled, and he simply replied, darling, did you actually expect to feel anything else today? And I remembered all over again that fear is just part of life. The trick is to recognize it and then press on anyway. The real trick, however, is to stop focusing on yourselves and start focusing on others. There was a time in my, I guess, late 20s when I worried all the time what audiences might think of me. I mean, would they like me? Was I up to par? And so on. It suddenly dawned on me that everyone in the audience had paid good money to come and see a show they really wanted to see. And possibly they were there after a day of dealing with a lot of stress. Maybe it was tax time. Perhaps someone had a family member who was ill, or they had a fight with a loved one. I can think of 100 scenarios, and I realized that I was in a position to brighten their day, to make a difference, to give them 3 hours of surcease, of transcendence, and hopefully joy. From that moment on, I began to develop a mindset of giving. I stopped looking inward, I began to grow up, and I started looking outward with an eye to making a difference wherever and whenever I could. So today, I invite you to start looking at life the same way. There are so many opportunities for giving in this world, and I mean, don't just engage in random acts of kindness, though that is just fine, but engage in planned acts of kindness. There are at-risk children who need to be mentored. There are people who go hungry every single day. There are those who are infirm and have no one to look after them. Some have experienced a paralyzing loss. Use your knowledge and your heart to stand up for those who can't stand, speak for those who can't speak, be a beacon of light for those whose lives have become dark, fight the good fight against global warming, be a part of all that is decent, and be an ambassador for the kind of world that you want to live in. Now, it won't always be easy. Whatever you embrace, there will be moments of doubt, moments of darkness, moments of adversity. And when adversity strikes, well, I can offer you a little trick for that as well. Actually, it's not really mine. I used to know the great English author T.H. White. Among other things, he wrote The Once and Future King, 4 novels in 1 book that encompassed his adaptation of the Arthurian legends. That vast tome became the base of the show Camelot, in which I was fortunate enough to play the role of Queen Guinevere on Broadway. T.H. White's message, Tim's message, is one that I carry with me wherever I go, and I would love to share it with you today. In The Sword in the Stone, which is the first book of this magnificent quartet, Merlin says the following about adversity to the young King Arthur. He says, "The best thing for being sad is to learn something. That is the only thing that never fails. You may grow old and trembling in your anatomies. You may lie awake at night, listening to the disorder of your veins. You may miss your only love. You may see the world about you devastated by evil lunatics, or know your honor trampled in the sewers of baser minds. There's only one thing for it then, to learn. Learn why the world wags and what wags it. That is the only thing which the mind can never exhaust, never alienate, never be tortured by, never fear or distrust, and never dream of regretting." Now, after 4 years of intense learning, this may be the last thing that you want to hear today, but I'm actually talking about becoming a lifelong learner. When adversity hits, go out and learn something. Adversity hit me big time when I lost my ability to sing due to a botched throat operation. It was devastating for me to lose the very thing that has sustained me my entire life. I mean, it was my identity. My daughter Emma and I had just begun writing a children's book together, and I was having a particularly low moment one day. I was bemoaning my fate, and she said, "Mom, you've simply found a new way of using your voice.